Look what you've started. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. How dare you? You with your perfectly round circular head. Look what you've done. Now that the haze is worn off, people are reacting appropriately now, finally. They're acting sane. This is from Forbes. This isn't from some garbage tier entertainment site like BuzzFeed or Collider or my YouTube channel. This is for real. This is Forbes.com. Look at this review here. Given that it... Oh, by the way, normal human being? Yeah, he looks like a nice guy. Family man? Yeah. Good gentleman, John Archer. John Archer, cheers to you, my friend. Yeah, it's nice to see normal Americans. Given that it currently enjoys a Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 91% and 7.4 on the IMDb, I guess I'm probably going to get crucified for saying this. No, John, you're not. You're not. You're going to get a big internet hug. But Star Wars: The Last Jedi is a terrible film. I'm not talking here, I hasten to add, about any of the thematic stuff that's caused so much debate in the Star Wars fanverse. I'll leave those debates to the Star Wars forums and to Ethan Van Sciver's Comic Artist Pro Secrets YouTube channel. What I'm talking about is just how bad The Last Jedi is as an exercise in filmmaking. You're damn right. The story's a mess for starters. It's packed with narrative holes and leaden dialogue, and the whole enterprise is hopelessly trapped inside a torturous series of incompatible timelines that stretch credibility well beyond anything that even the setting the story in a galaxy far, far away can excuse. Boy, that's weird. It's cool, but it's weird. It looks like it's made out of wax. The film's tone is all over the place too, switching horribly awkwardly between usually painfully lame humor, serious force stuff, quote unquote, and lots of people dying without even trying to establish any sort of context for its changing moods. Dull, messy scripts can sometimes be rescued by great direction, but sadly, despite his enjoyable efforts with Looper, writer-director Rian Johnson constantly fluffs the job of filming his own words. Tense scenes fail to build tension. Dramatic scenes deliver no drama. Emotionally charged scenes lack emotional charge. Fight scenes look horribly stilted and leaden. Jokes generally feel so labored or are delivered so abruptly that they feel more like a slap in the face rather than something that might actually make you laugh. I really can't think of a single important scene where you get any sense that Johnson understands how to use imagery to add power to the film's generally underwhelming events. The Last Jedi's many filmmaking fails left me with almost nothing I could latch onto in order to become immersed in the action, leaving me desperate for the whole dull mess to come to an end, at least an hour before it did. I feel the same way. I was in hell. I felt like I was in limbo. I had no idea how long I'd been there or when it was going to end. No idea. And once the criminally drab conclusion was finally reached, I couldn't help but find myself comparing The Last Jedi with Alien 3 in terms of its franchise-crushing awfulness. Yeah. I'm not saying The Last Jedi has necessarily got me thinking it's time to call on Star Wars, especially as it seems from the positive ratings on various aggregating websites that there are still hordes of people determined to love Star Wars universe no matter how clumsily it's delivered. Here we go. Surely alarm bells have to be ringing, though, about the fact that Johnson is also currently signed up to make another trilogy of Star Wars films. Yeah, you would think so, but no. This is inexcusable. This is a bridge too far. I would like to blame Rian Johnson for this, but I'm not sure that I can. I can't tolerate this. The answer is no. I will not go to see this movie if Meryl Streep is in it. I won't. I'm not going to go. So you can go GFY. I'm not going to go see this. Meryl Streep. When Disney and Lucasfilm confirmed that they would not motion capture or include a CGI Leia in Star Wars 9, there was never any real talk about an actress coming in to replace her, which sounds like sacrilege, unless it's a younger version of the character, as fans have long been in support of Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown coming in to play the princess in a standalone Star Wars story. But, see, that's my theory about Star Wars babies. Like, I think they should do a series of Star Wars Babies movies, because at least then you're using the same characters. But now some fierce rumors have begun to rear their ugly head. Fierce, ugly head. That Meryl Streep will step into play the role. See, this is the thing about these places. Look, we'll step into. Now, we'll step into, two separate words, not step into play. She will step in to play the role once occupied by her longtime friend, Carrie Fisher. You know, you read enough of these articles aloud and you really notice how bad these garbage tier news sites are in terms of editing. And they're terrible. Meryl Streep once famously played a version of Carrie Fisher in Postcards from the Edge, and already has some insight into Carrie Fisher's mind space when it comes to inhabiting this particular sci-fi icon. Yes, that might be true, but Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia are two very, very different people. And so Meryl Streep has no insight into Princess Leia, none. The opposite. The Emperor Palpatine. But Lucasfilm has already disturbed the fan base adequately enough with the very divisive Last Jedi. I read through gritted teeth. Will they really trade an older Leia out? Carrie Fish's death. I'm sorry, let me read that again. I called her Carrie Fish. No disrespect intended at all. Carrie Fisher's death has left a giant hole in genre fandom. Okay. That is true. But, you can't just fill a giant hole with a big rock. You can't. Okay? This is an agonizing wound that we're all going to have to deal with. We miss our Princess Leia. There is no replacing her. Okay? You can't just put a plank of wood in her place. No, you can't. You can't do it. Which is still felt to this day deeply, and her death had a major impact on Star Wars fans, which is still being felt even more than a year after her passing. Many fans are probably okay with letting the character die between The Last Jedi and Star Wars 9. Yes, that's it. That's the answer. As she was allowed to ride off into the sunset in the previous chapter. The Last Jedi adaptation even sets up that Leia is suffering from her bout in space, and it gives them a perfect out in wrapping up the character's story arc. That's it. There is a problem. Leia was always meant to be the driving force behind Star Wars 9. Oh well, she's not now. How about just don't make Star Wars 9? If that's the issue, just don't make it. That would be fine. Or remember what Ed Wood did in Plan 9 from Outer Space? Like, he just had a Bela Lugosi stand-in cover up the lower half of his face the whole time? Maybe not. Such as Han was in The Force Awakens and Luke was in The Last Jedi. She was the main character in the script. So basically, this trilogy, like each one, like 7 was to disgrace Han Solo, 8 was to disgrace Luke Skywalker, and 9 was meant to disgrace Princess Leia. But Carrie Fisher fooled them. I mean, she went on to her reward before they could thoroughly destroy Princess Leia. Oh, my dear sweet Carrie Fisher, thank you. Thank you. She was the main character in the script that ultimately got scrapped by fired director Colin Trevorrow. Another hero, Colin Trevorrow. You tried, buddy, you tried. I like your last name, Trevorrow. But no. J.J. Abrams, who replaces the filmmaker, has already finished his script, and shooting begins this summer. Seems a little harsh to execute J.J. Abrams just for writing Oh, no, you mean filming. There has been no official mention yet that he's bringing Leia back in any capacity. Would announcing Meryl Streep as Leia further alienate the Star Wars fan base? Yes. That's hugely yes. And it's also yes that Lucasfilm could secretly be letting this rumor spread to gauge fan discourse. Oh, good. All right, well, I'm glad I'm making this video then. It is rumored they did something similar with the first major reveal of Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo in Solo, a Star Wars story. They wouldn't confirm nor deny that a poster floating around was the real thing, which it was. And it was a weird way to let fans have commentary without being told this was the real deal. What a bunch of passive-aggressive cowards. When it comes to Leia, there is no doubt that she was meant to play a larger role as this trilogy finished itself out. CGI is off the table. Writing her out of the story always seemed like the most logical step. In doing so, the Star Wars canon could officially write her out in a book, giving her a proper send-off before mentioning it in the opening crawl of Star Wars 9. These are too many spoilers. Too many spoilers for Star Wars 9, which is still a ways away. They could kill Leia on screen. They could kill Leia off on screen without showing it. The final option is just to straight up recast Leia. Meryl Streep is the most devious answer and the least offensive at this point. Is that right? But it isn't going to sit right with a huge portion of the fan base, no matter how you slice it. No, it won't. And the beloved Laura Dern, boy, these people are the propaganda around Laura Dern in this movie is unreal. It's unreal. She was terrible. She was awful. Why do you insist? Why do they insist on continuing to act like she was a treat? She was not a treat. She didn't belong in this movie. Laura Dern. I'd rather see Bruce Dern with blue hair, frankly. Is proof that it doesn't matter who the actor is. Behind Rose Tico, Holdo is one of the most hated aspects of the latest Star Wars adventure. That's correct. So my advice to you and to everyone at Lucasfilm, SJW, Lucasfilm, Disney, is do not trust your own judgment. Don't trust your own judgment. You don't know what you're doing. An online petition has been launched, which is gaining some buzz. There are some fans who do not want to see this happen, but it's hard to gauge its authenticity. Oh, it's real. It states the following. As the fans of Star Wars and Carrie Fisher, we really want Leia to shine in Episode 9, and we certainly do not want her to be written out of the film abruptly without a reasonable plot. Therefore, recasting Leia is a more ideal option for us, and we do believe that Meryl Streep is an ideal candidate. What the hell is this nonsense? No. Wrong. Though Carrie Fisher and Meryl Streep were fast, easy, and longtime friends in real life, it's impossible to gauge how. I'm not going to read the rest of this. How Carrie Fisher would have felt about being replaced. She would have hated it. She always had a great sense of humor about the role, but she never talked much about leaving the franchise in such a case of her death. So let's not anyone put words in her mouth. She may have loved the idea, she may have hated it. We'll never know. All right, well, let's just assume that it would be a terrible idea, that it would be the worst idea imaginable, and even if it wasn't a terrible idea, let's not replace Carrie Fisher with a woman who stood up and gave a round of applause, a standing ovation for Roman Polanski, a child rapist. Let's not do that. You crawl under a rock, do something. The hole that this woman left behind is not for you to fill. Not at all. Go fill another hole.